Hey, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to OS 430 Organizational Change. So I am Dave Plouffe, and I'm your professor for this mod. And I'll start off and tell you a little bit about myself, and then we'll talk about the course and my expectations, right? So, anyways, my name's Dave Plouffe, and I've been teaching for Goodwin now as an adjunct, probably going on 7, 8 years. I I also was an adjunct professor for the Workforce Education and Development Program for Southern Illinois University, and I did that for about 8 years too. Currently, I do accreditation reviews for American Council on Education. I'm a consultant there, and my main gig, I'm full time, right? So I am a government employee and I am the curriculum director, the department head for the curriculum department at the Naval Leadership and Ethics Center in Newport, Rhode Island on the Naval Station. So, yeah, I've been there for I've been a GS employee now going on 15 years. And before that, I was a submarine sonarman. I did that for 20 years. And Educationally, a couple of master's degrees, master's in defense and strategic studies, a master's degree in leadership, graduate certificates in curriculum design and education, homeland security, project management, you name it. Yeah, a couple of runs at my PhD. Never finished it though. Life always seemed to get in the way. Uh, that's me. And Not only am I the curriculum director, but I also teach the department head and senior officer courses. I mainly teach leadership and ethics. So yeah, I live in Rhode Island. I live right on the border in Hopkinton, Rhode Island. I have three daughters, and me and my wife, we live out in the woods. I am always available. Uh, Everybody on the syllabus is my personal cell phone number. If you have any questions or concerns, please text me. I work good with texts because, like I said, I teach. So a lot of times I will not be able to pick up the phone. Excuse me. But if you send me a text, so for instance, and say, hey, Dave, this is Bob from OS 430. The question on quiz 4 is all jacked up and I need an explanation. Right? I'll give you a call back. We'll figure that out. Okay. Uh, so yeah, please feel free to contact me. Also, contact me with any issues that might come up. My teaching philosophy is, I work with you, right? Uh, and anybody that has had me before knows that, okay, that I am accommodating. Let's say it that way. So if you are going to miss a couple of days, or you're gonna, something happened, you got sick, or text me, let me know. We can work it out, right? Okay. Now that being said, one of my rules is this though. I do not accept late discussion board posts. Don't. And here's why. Even if you're going to miss a couple of days. So I write the discussion boards. So, for instance, you don't need the book, yeah, to answer the discussion boards. They're usually reflective, like think about your current work environment or a place you've been. Have you witnessed this? And how did it make you feel? So you don't really need the book. So, you know, uh, if you are on travel and you don't have your textbook, I think you should still be able to contribute to the discussion boards. Because if, we are in week 4, for instance, and you decide you're going to go back and post in week 2, nobody's reading it. Your classmates are not reading it, right? Uh, I will see it, but that's it. So it's not really a discussion, is it? It's really just a post. And to me, that takes away from the discussion that we're having because, to me, the discussion boards replace not 100%, but they do their best to replace the type of discussion that we would have in the classroom if we were there. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So please keep up with the discussion boards. Now the book, right? So this is a digital book, and it's by Cengage, or you might hear it referred to as MindTap. And I ask that you get this book from, you can get it direct from the publisher. I think I provided the link, or you could get it from the Goodwin College bookstore. It's good for, I think, a year. And if you have used this in other courses, you don't have to buy the book, the code again, right? So if you're still within that year window, and I know there's other courses at Goodwin that use that. So that's one of the reasons, we decided to do that with this course, because it can save you money if you have other courses there. I ask that you get it and test it out as soon as possible, because there's nothing more frustrating than being in week 2 of a 7-week course and finding out, oh, I can't log in, right? That is troubling. I also ask that everybody maintain a close eye on your grades in your grade book. There's a grade book actually in the Cengage software, and there's a grade book in Blackboard. And I ask that you keep a close eye on that because it's supposed to link, right? They're supposed to be reflective of each other. And if I did not mess it up, that's what should happen. However, to err is human. And so I ask that you take a look at that. Another thing on this, right? Do not leave any questions blank. Answer everyone, right? If you give something, you know, I might be able to give you some credit, but some questions, because the quizzes are also in this digital book, right? It might say, hey, type in, what do you think of, I don't know, organizational change? And if you leave it blank, I got to give you a 0, right? But if you give me something, you get partial credit, okay? So give me something. But, this is a senior level class. We know that. If you come across a question on a quiz or an assessment and you're like, hey, doesn't make sense, doesn't seem right, I don't agree. Do me a favor, use that snippet tool on our computers, take a picture of the question if you can, and forward it to me. Say, Dave, why is this wrong? Either I will explain it to you, or the program is wrong, and I will give the class credit for that. Okay. So again, go to the bookstore, get the book from from the Goodwin bookstore, the code, and go in there as soon as possible and test it out. If once you've set up that account, you should be able to access everything from Blackboard. Like if you went into week 1 and clicked on week 1 quiz, it will take you to the quiz. Week 1 reading, it'll take you to the reading in there. I've tested it out on mine. I've done this course this way a few times, and I find actually it works pretty good. That's why I continue to use it, because I like it, actually. It doesn't make my life any easier, but I think there is a lot of good stuff in that book on organizational change. Okay, final project, right? Everybody wants to know about final projects. It's a standard, 7 to 10 pages. Going to ask you to evaluate an organizational change that you have witnessed. Could be at your current employment, could be at a previous employment, could be at a school, a chain or any organization. But I'm going to ask you, and I put some references there, to look at it using John Kotter's 8 Steps of Change Management. John Kotter has a great website where he describes some of the things that occur or should occur for successful change to occur. Some of these you may not think about, like building a guiding coalition. What he says is a lot of times in change management, the leader, let's say I'm the leader, says, I want this to happen, make this happen. And then as soon as that leader leaves or retires, usually the change goes back to the way things were. Right? We've all seen that. So what he says with, for instance, building a guiding coalition, he says, hey, that leader should also get a few department heads, division officers, maybe some managers, maybe some workers on the floor that also agree with that change. And that's now his coalition to build the change, because those people will not communicate downwards, but horizontally to their peers. And that makes the change more lasting. That's one of the steps that John Kotter talks about. So, I provide that link, and yeah, I think that should be in your final a discussion of those 8 steps. Another thing is Bridges' transition model, and this is how to transition an organization into a change mode. Basically, it is unfreeze the organization, shake things up, then freeze and review, right? Then and adjust, then shake things, unfreeze again. It's a basic model, but I think you'll get a lot out of that. And the third model, and once again, I'll talk about these each week, is David Rock's SCARF model. Everybody loves an acronym, right? This is why people are resistant to change, right? We've all seen people that are just like, we've been doing this. Why are we changing? Well, David Rock's SCARF model, he says, hey, people are generally afraid because their social economic status could change, right? Perhaps the cost of the change, perhaps they'll lose autonomy, perhaps they'll lose relationships, right? Or perhaps it's just fear of the change, of the unknown. So people are generally resistant to change because of that. So as a leader, and you have to implement a change, you have to figure out what is it that people are afraid of? Why is this not happening? And you have to address that. In my experience, social economic status is usually very high up there. That in relationships, that people don't want to lose their status in the organization. They don't want to lose, jeopardize relationships. So you have to address that. So those are 3 models. We'll talk more about this. This is just an introductory video. And so I like to do these little videos where I'm talking to my computer once a week. And yeah, we'll go from there. Okay, so once again, read the syllabus. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks, Dave out.